So today we're going to be talking about trucks, specifically Thunders. So I think the last time I went through my setup, I kind of explained that I was an Indy guy, but I was doing some experimenting and I wanted to just kind of play the field a little bit. I haven't tried out a whole lot of other trucks in a really long time. Like I think the last time I skated something other than Indies was probably almost 10 years ago. It's been a while. So I figured I'd play the field, and now that I have a better understanding of how to craft a setup that I'm gonna like, I wanted to see if there's any particular things about trucks that drew me in. So first things first, let's actually just talk about Indies. Now I've skated Indies for a really long time, the standard setup and the inverted kingdom setup. And a lot of the reason people skate Indies is because they turn good, they've been around forever, they grind good. Now me, I was a weird one, and I specifically liked putting the bones hard bushings in the Indies rather than just a stock pair of bushings. Now, if you've been watching for a while, I definitely was skating Indies for a majority of the videos on the channel. And the reason I switched to the Thunders was simply because I couldn't get a hold of Bones bushings. I couldn't get a hold of good bushings, and I was like, you know, maybe I should stop procrastinating the truck switch and just do it already. So I did, and we've been skating Thunders for the last little while. And we're gonna talk about specifically some things that I noticed about Thunders that I really like, so let's just get into it. So first things first, I did get the Thunder lights. So there is a hollow kingpin and a hollow axle. Now immediately out of the box, I still haven't modified how tight these trucks are at all. I literally put them on and skated them the way they are, and I like them the way they are. They are perfect looseness, tightness for me. Now the turning is not quite as good as Indies, but it's good enough, and I'm not really looking to be floating around like I'm on a wave or anything. One thing I do notice though is the pinch for crooked grinds and 5.0s and any of those grinds seems to be a lot more stable with Thunders for some reason. I feel like it just locks a little better. Maybe that's due to a bigger flex, or maybe it's something completely different entirely, but that's one thing that I for sure noticed. So some oddities, I've noticed that the base plates on these actually don't round out as easily as the Indy base plates. I don't know why. I always feel like I skate for maybe a month and then my base plate's pretty rounded out on the Indy. I've had these for a long time and the base plate is still pretty sharp. Now, one thing that you might not think about is if you do a lot of tail slide or nose slidey tricks, your base plate's grinding up against the ledge or the rail or the box or whatever a lot. And if you have really sharp edges on your base plate, that can lead to you sticking. It's just like catching your kingpin on like a feeble or a smith. It's gonna pitch you forward or pitch you backward. But rounding out those edges is kind of important. But I've noticed that they're really, really durable. I don't know if it's just different or if I'm just grinding differently, but I also noticed that I really was not a fan of the dragon wheels as much with these trucks. And I think it's because they're probably pushed forward a little bit more, so more of my wheel is making contact with ledges and grinds and slides. And when that happens with a softer wheel, you're gonna pitch more. So interestingly enough, this also pushes out more, so it makes your wheelbase longer, which is probably could lead to another discussion about why my flip tricks are lacking so much. But yes, it does push it out and make it have a wider wheelbase, thus kind of reinforcing the theory that more of my wheels are making contact with the ledge, and that's why I stick more. Now, another thing I've noticed about specifically the Thunder bushings is that in the cold weather, they get really, really stiff. The Bones bushings, not so much, and the Indy bushings, they do kind of, it's kind of like in the middle. Thunder bushings, for sure, you feel it. You'll skate and you will feel like you cannot turn for the first 3 or 4 minutes until those bushings kind of warm up, which is really interesting. But all in all, do I think I skate better with the Thunders? Yes and no. I think certain aspects definitely suffer. I think my flip tricks suffer the most when it comes to these because of the wider wheelbase. And the fact that I like to skate twin shapes, and most of the time I'm only able to come into contact with iShods, my distance from the ground tends to be a little bit higher. So I think I get a lot of ghost pop, and I feel like the longer wheelbase just doesn't help that out a lot. But I have skated these on other ones like the Welcome Evil Twin, and I really love the way I skate on the Welcome Evil Twin with the Thunders. Grinds and slides, I definitely think slides suffer the most. Grinds are really good, they pinch anything with a pinch or a lock really pinches and locks really, really hard. It feels like it almost goes that extra 2 or 3 degrees out, like especially on like a crooked grind. It feels like it goes that extra 2 or 3 degrees out that really makes it feel like a pinch. Overall, do I think I'm going to switch back to the Indies? As of right now, no. I really like these Thunders. I think I'm gonna stick with them for a little bit. I wanna play around with a couple different boards, but I do have another set of trucks that I wanna try out before I really figure out where my setup is at. Venture Lights. Every really tech ledge skater really loves Ventures, so I'm really excited for these. We're gonna try these out, probably not now, but definitely soon. And I'm excited to get these going. If you have any specific kind of trucks that you skate, let me know in the comments below. Maybe we can get a conversation going about those. I'm really interested, and I think there's a lot of room for discussion with trucks because there's so many different ways you can go and so many different ways that you can modify things that I think with just the right set of trucks, you can make almost any board feel amazing. But for sure, one thing I do want to do before I switch or make a final decision is I definitely want to kind of go around and test each one on the same day. But as of right now, I'm sticking with the Thunders. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, drop me a like, drop me a sub. It really helps out a lot, and I'll see you guys in the next one.